Hey everybody, it's the Trout, and welcome to another episode of the Trout Show. Thanks for being here. What you just got to hearing was a 15-year-old, very talented harmonica player, a blues harmonica player. Her name is Kiersi Joli. I caught up with her recently, and she sat down and talked to me about how she started playing harmonica at 7, and she's all in with the blues music. She loves it, and she's a great player already. She's already been able to perform people like Jamie Johnson, and I just have a feeling that that's just the first of many people by reaching out to Kiersi for her to perform. So sit back and enjoy this episode because I think you'll like it about how a 15-year-old continues to get better playing harmonica and how her life is going to change dramatically in the music industry. That's next on The Trout Show. Going back to your very beginning, when did you pick up or decide, "Ooh, I think I'll play this 10 hole thing and become really good at it"?
Yeah, so actually, we lived in a small rural town in Missouri called Bowling Green, Missouri.
Okay.
And my whole entire childhood, I grew up listening to music and everything. And on Christmas, when I was 6, I got this little set of harmonicas. And I didn't know what they were or what they did. And my mom was like, you blow or draw air to make music. And so I tried it and like I was just astounded by the sound that it made. And I had ever after that, I had begged my mom for like 2 months straight to find me a teacher who could like actually teach me to play it. And
Mm.
we found someone in New Mexico, Missouri.
I know where that
Um,
is. I know where that is.
yeah, I gotta be specific because sometimes people are
I
like, "You
feel
mean the
that.
state or?"
Yeah, no, no, I know. It's like Mexico, Missouri. We have a Paris, Texas. You got a New Mexico. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And so we went and saw him, and he taught me for about 2 months, and he went up to my parents. After I had like learned to play single notes within a month, I had started playing songs within that month too. He went up to my parents. He was like, she needs someone more professional. Like he had just been doing a little harmonica on the side, but he taught guitar mostly.
Yeah.
So my parents were like, we're in Missouri. Where are we gonna find a harmonica teacher to teach someone how to play? And so my mom searched online and she found an organization called SPA, the Society for Preserving and Advancing the Harmonica.
Well,
Um, and it just so happened that they were in St. Louis that week. So we had went up there on Wednesday and we looked around and you walk in and there's all these sorts of harmonicas, big ones, little ones, diatonics, chromatics, two-tiered harmonicas, bass
uh,
harmonicas. I was astounded by how many there were. Um, and through SPA, we found a guy called Sandy Weltman. We went to him, and it was really great because he lived like just outside of St. Louis. I can't remember exactly where.
right.
Um, but we went to him, and he was the first person who started teaching me the blues.
And how old were you
Um,
at that time? How old were you?
7, I would
Wow.
say.
Wow.
Yeah. Um, so we went to him, and my first song that I ever learned on the blues was St. James Infirmary.
Not a lot of people even know what that song is, but that's an old song. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and ever since then, I have loved playing the blues. And I've gotten to meet other teachers of mine, like Ronnie Shellis. He's a phenomenal blues player, and he has a site called Harmonica 123, where he takes all these classic blues songs by like Muddy Waters, Steve Wonder, all these phenomenal harmonica players, and he
Hmm.
dissects it and he like teaches it to you through like this little Zoom call every I think he does it twice a month on different days. But he just dissects it and he breaks it down, and I really love that because you get not only one to learn the song, but you get to actually go deep into the song and study it. Um, so yeah, ever since then, I've just been playing whenever I can, wherever I can. Um, and yeah.
The thing I know too that was interesting to me was the special microphone that you have. And that is that Horner that makes that? Was that who makes that? Who makes that? Who makes that?
No, the harmonica microphone I have is a brand called Dyna Mic.
Okay.
Um, they came out in 2019, and I first saw them at Spa. And I saw them playing in a little classroom and just kind of messing with it. And I walk in, I'm like, can I try that? And so I try it, and I'm like blown away because it had great quality sound. It had two little switches on it, one for it to go on and off, and one that adds distortion or takes it away.
Oh wow, that's kind of interesting. Yeah.
And then you had a volume knob on it, and it plugs in like a guitar, just to um, like just right into
Yeah.
an amp
Yeah, it's a
or
quarter
to
inch plug. Yeah, right. Yeah.
yeah. And like I fell in love with it. And that whole week while I was at Spa, I kept going back to it. And then the guy who makes them, Mitch Granger, um, he asked me, he was like, "Do you want to be endorsed with us? Because like
I was
I
gonna
love the
say,
harmonica." Like
absolutely.
I was like astounded, and I was like, "Absolutely, yeah." And so ever since I want to say, yeah, 2019, I've been endorsed with them.
You know, it's funny to me because I'm sure your friends don't understand what you do. I mean, they see you play harmonica, but they don't listen to the blues. It's the same
Hmm.
conversation I had with Danny. Is they're listening to pop or whatever they're listening to or hip hop or something like that, and you whip out your harmonic and you start saying blues, and they're like, "What? What's this?"
Hmm.
And then you start doing it, and they probably don't even understand how good you really are. And the thing that amazes me about and unfortunately, and you know this, I'm not telling you, you know, you don't have a lot of information out there because you've been playing a long time, but nobody's seen you that
Yeah.
much. And I will tell you that you're going to be in a situation where you're going to have to make a decision very quickly on where you're going to go as far as your harmonica playing. What do you think is going to happen to you? What's happened to you so far with the little exposure you got? Tell me what's happened to you so far about getting to be able to play more and more.
Yeah, it was really cool. I want to say last year we went down to Harley Davidson because Jamie Johnson was doing there for a meet and greet. And so I'm there, I'm standing in line waiting to meet him, and I finally go up to him. I'm like, "Hey, I'm Kiersi. I love your music and everything." And I was like, "I'm an artist. I play harmonica." He was like, "Oh, that's so cool." And I was like, "Do you want to hear some?" And I pulled it out of my pocket. I mean, that's the great thing about harmonicas. You can
Yeah,
just you put it in your pocket and you have it everywhere you go.
I love it.
Um, so I pull it out and I play him a little bit lick that I always play for everyone new that I meet, and he's like, "You're gonna guest on stage with me on one of my songs,"
How
and I was
cool is
like,
that?
"What?"
Yeah.
And so he's like, "Here's the location. This is what time you need to get there. Here's the contact information. Come around back, and I'll introduce you to other people, and we'll get you all set up." And so I'm in the car, like we're driving there. My mom's driving. I couldn't drive at that
Yeah, I understand.
time. And I'm just like, is this really happening? I'm getting to play with Jamie Johnson. And so I'm back there behind stage. We're talking a little bit. He introduces me to Dennis Quaid, and I'm like, whoa, for one. Like, I not only got to meet Jamie Johnson, but I also got to meet Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, he's a
And
musician. A lot of people don't know that he's a musician too. Yeah.
yeah, and I got to go on stage and he was like, "Do you know this song?" We were still at Harley Davidson. He was like, "Do you know this song?" I was like, "No, but I can improvise to it." So I'm sitting there outside of Harley Davidson, holding my phone up to my ear, listening to this song and playing something to it, trying to figure out the key and what
Yeah.
I will play.
Yeah.
And like 10 minutes later, I'm on stage playing that song with him. It was Around the World. Um, I think that's what it was called. I
Do
don't
you
know. I'm
remember
not
what
great
do
with
you remember what key it was in?
no.
Okay. Well, I assume
Um,
it was a three-chord song, right? Was it a blues song or was it more than that?
yeah, it was a blues song.
Okay.
On top of the world. That's
Oh,
what
on
it
top of the
was.
world. Sure, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I'm not like super good with names, but so I'm up there playing, and I'm like, this is the best. I'm getting to play with one of the artists that I love hearing, and I'm getting to play with them. And that was just a highlight of that year for me. Um, so yeah, I'd say that was probably one of my favorite things that happened to me last year. And it started to open more doors for me. I'm also a songwriter. I play guitar as well.
Yep, I've seen that.
And so I have some original songs, and I'm starting to get them in the studio, starting to get them recorded that I'm hopefully wanting to release by next year sometime. Um, and so it's just, and meeting Danny as well, like it's opened so many doors for me to start meeting so many more people and playing. Like even just playing with Danny, like he's such a phenomenal guitarist
Mm.
that it's so great to just be like to be playing with him as well.
Tell me about your family. So, how many other you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah. I am the youngest of six
Oh, wow.
in my family. And all of my other siblings are like, well, most of them are graduated out of college. I have one that's going into college right now, and then I'm
So
going
you're the
into my
baby. You're
junior
the
year.
real baby, right? You're
I
the real
am,
baby.
yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
And your
Yeah.
parents, they work or what do they do?
My dad works. He is the service manager at Tri-Green, John Deere.
Okay.
Um, and then my mom, she's a stay-at-home mom, and she teaches me because I'm homeschooled.
There we
Um,
go.
yeah,
So what have you
yeah.
thought about what you want to do? I mean,
I want to do music.
I
I
mean,
mean,
the hardest thing for you to decide, and I know this is when you have the talent you already have, and I've seen this before, where young people come along, they're extremely talented, but then they give it up because they just don't have the drive to finish it up. You know, I don't see that in any of the people I've talked to, Danny and Saxon, and probably you're not going to be that way either. But it's a whole different lifestyle that your dad working at John Deere is used to because
yeah,
they're around different people. They're going like, who are these people and what's the story here? And they're going to be very protective of their daughter, which obviously they should be. And then you'll get approached by people that you should never be in business with, you know. But don't be surprised one day you get a call from figure, who. So who, if anybody was live now, said, and you think about this, who would you love to get on stage or record with? Either one. Who is your favorite artist that you would love to do that with?
oh, that's a really hard. I love listening to Big Mama Thornton and like her rendition of Hound Dog. Like it's so. I would probably say Big Mama Thornton. Like she, the way that she sings and plays harmonica, it's not exactly how I play. I mean, we all have different styles of our own that we all play, but she I would love to get up and play with her and like um I've I wouldn't confine myself to specifically blues um as just the genre that I do because I play and I love listening to all sorts of different genres, you know?
Hmm.
And that's one of the biggest things all of my harmonica teachers have said. They're like, don't just listen to the blues. Like, get out there, know how to play to so many different genres. Because when you get approached by someone and they're like, can you play this, this, and this song in the blues, and then this, and this song in country or jazz or something like that, I'm like, I can be able to go up and be like, yeah, I can do that. And so I wouldn't really confine myself to like just the blues as being an artist.
I think you're smart because, well, you limit yourself. I love the blues, but as I said earlier, it's a very niche market. People, if I interview somebody from the blues to people I know, and they don't know who I'm talking about. I'll say, who's that? And I said, well, he sells out everywhere he goes. Well, I don't know who that is. But if you're in a situation, and that's very smart because you got movies. I mean, if somebody and one of the things I tell people, especially independent artists, they want to do it is learn how to play it enough that you can become a studio musician.
Hmm.
Because then you're called all the time. And I mean, Nashville, obviously they play harmonica up there. There's a few people up there. You're going to be running down the road figuring out what do I do next? But the other thing is, and this is what your parents are going to be thinking, I can't forget that she's still a kid.
Hmm.
I mean, you're not really a kid, you're a teenager, but still you don't want to lose that part of your life either because you only get to do that once.
Yeah.
And so you're working on trying to get into the studio. Where's the nearest studio? You go to Nashville to record?
Yeah, I work with an organization called Notes for Notes. They're a nonprofit organization,
I think I know
and they
heard
work
about
with,
them. No, go ahead,
they
tell me a
work
little
with,
bit more. Yeah.
yeah, they work with teens and kids, from all around, and I think they have a studio in California, and then I think they have multiple studios in California, and then they also have quite a few studios out here in Tennessee. So I've been going to them a lot for all of my recording purposes, and I've been going to them, I want to say, for at least 4 months now. I've been working with them, and so yeah, it's been really cool because they not only allow you to come in and record your stuff, but you can also ask them and be like, hey, I want to learn this audio side of music. And so they'll go through like all the audio stuff with you.
Hmm.
I personally haven't done that yet, but it's one of the things I'm wanting to get more into so I can be more versed in both sides as not only performing and being in the studio, but being able to record my own stuff at home or in a small little space if needed.
When did you start writing songs, though? I mean, obviously you picked the harmonica, but when did you say, "Oh, I think I can write a song"?
I started writing songs when I was 11. It was around the time when we had decided that we were going to move to Tennessee, and I was having mixed feelings about it because I was like, I want to go because I know it's going to help me so much more, but at the same time, I don't want to leave my only friends
Mm.
and like the only place I've ever lived. And so my mom told me, she was like, write a song about it. Like, if you're having all of these feelings, write a song. And that's exactly what I did. I wrote a song called Moving Blues, and it's out there on streaming platforms, but I was 9, I was 11 when I recorded it, so it's not the greatest vocals of mine.
Well, your voice has changed, obviously.
Yes, I don't go back and listen to it. Uh,
But your mom's a smart person.
oh yeah,
Is she musically inclined? Is she either one of your parents?
no,
Either one of them?
my parents are not musically inclined at all. I mean, my dad played trombone in high school, but that's
Yeah.
about the only credit we give him for
Right.
musicality.
No, I understand that.
But my mom has a saying, and it's a great saying. She says, I'm your number one fan, but I'm also your number one critic, which
Hmm.
I love, and because I know I can perform anywhere and know that afterwards she's going to give me advice on how to grow better. Because sometimes I'll have those off days where I'm not sounding my best, or sometimes I'll have those days where I'm sounding really great. And my mom, either way, she'll be like, you sounded really great, or there are a couple things you need to work on with these songs. And, I'm really good at taking advice from other people. And I think that's one of my my mom says that's like one of her favorite things about me is that I'm really great about taking advice from people who are better than me and who maybe have more experience than
Hmm.
me. Um, so yeah, it's really cool.
What is it your goal right now? I mean, I noticed that you haven't played guitar that long, have you? Obviously, you've been playing harmonica longer.
I started playing guitar. Um, it was after we moved here, so I was probably around 12.
Okay. Do you find it much harder than playing harmonica?
I have been fortunate to find such a great guitar player, Nikki V. Hines. Um, he's actually on tour right now with Shenandoah. Um, but I was fortunate enough to find him and be open to learn. Like he asked me when I first met him and had my first lesson with him, he was like, "Okay, so what do you want to learn on guitar?"
Mm.
And I said, "Everything. I want to learn as much as I can on this guitar." And he was like, "That might be the best answer that you could give for this."
Yeah.
Um, and so I think it's because I was so open and dedicated to learning everything I could on guitar, as well as still playing harmonica, still writing songs, still going out there and playing, um, that I was able to do it. And like, I'm not as good as on guitar as I am on harmonica, but I'm still at that level where I can sort of sometimes improvise on guitar if I just have my guitar on me and I'm kind of just messing around with it and everything. Um, but I would say like I think it was just the dedication I had to learning it that made the process of being able to play it go by quicker.
Well, and I assume you read. You can read notes. I assume that you can do some of that, can't you?
I can do some of that.
Yeah.
I mainly play by ear when it
That's
comes
what
to
I do.
harmonica.
Yeah. Yeah. And I noticed that you use one of the songs you were playing, you were capoing the guitar. I noticed that, which obviously
hmm
we all do. What's your favorite key to play or write a song in?
Um, I really try to find the best key that fits my voice, and sometimes for a song it's different. Um, I mean, like my favorite key to play on in harmonica is F because I'm playing a B flat harmonica, and B flat harmonica is my favorite to play on. Um, and then
So if I played with you, or I
mhm.
would have to play in a key of F. Is that what you're telling me? So
If I
if
was
you
just
play a
playing
B
harmonica, I
flat,
would ask you to play in key of F.
okay.
When it comes to my voice, I don't know. I'd say it kind of just depends on the song sometimes.
Yeah, that's pretty low. I mean, you're only a half step up from an E,
Yeah.
so it's pretty low. Mine is A. I know exactly where I play. My voice hits an A, which then that would be a D for you to play. If I played,
hmm
what do you? It's a D, isn't it? Which is just
Yeah.
it's so weird for me to figure out because it's like I don't get it. I'm not
Yeah, I
a
mean,
harmonica player.
yeah, sometimes when I'm writing a song, like I'll have to like look at the chords that they're playing on guitar and be like, okay, is this in this key? But in order to really find out, I'll grab my harmonica and I'll just kind of mess around with it. And I'm like, okay, it's in this key now. Um, and so yeah, I mentioned that I was endorsed with the harmonica microphone also.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm also endorsed with Honer. And like that was such an amazing thing that happened to me. I was 9 when they approached my parents and they were like, "What kind of harmonica she got in that set case right there?" And they came up to me, of course, because I had the harmonica case by my side, you know, and a little handle.
Right.
They're like, "What kind of harmonicas you got in there?" I'm like, "Well, mostly special 20s and some rockets and everything like that." And so they went to my parents they were like, "Do you think she'd like to be a Honer endorsee?" And they were like, "Yeah." So they talked to me afterwards, and I was like, "Oh yeah." Like my face lit up. I was like, I would love to. And so now my whole case is Honers, and because I love the sound and the quality of them,
Mm.
um, and just everything about them, the way they play, the way they fit for the style of my playing and everything like that.
How many harmonicas do you have now? Just guessing.
Um,
They're right
I have 21 in this case. Um, and then in another case, I have some extras, so it's probably around the 30 mark.
And then they'll just keep giving them to you. I mean, that's what's great about it. But you're exactly what they're looking for. You're a young artist, and not that many people play harmonica. I mean, you think about all the people I've seen play harmonica is usually older, and they don't take it up. And one of the things I just want to touch on real quick: what do your friends say? Do they understand what you're doing? Do they get it? Or I mean, what do they say to you?
I mean, honestly, the biggest response I hear from them is like, that was really cool. Like, that was really good. Um, and they're like, how do you do that? And I'll get that from a lot of other artists as well. They're like, how in the world do you do that? They're like, I've tried. Like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
And I'll try, and I'm not a great explainer. Like, I can't explain a lot.
Mm-mm.
Um, but I'm just like, it took a lot of practice, and I was at such a young age when I first started that I got so invested in it so early that playing was all I wanted to do. I would spend about an hour in my room, and at first, when I first started, my mom was like, okay, you should spend like 30 minutes practicing a day. Um, and then my mom would come to me an hour later. She's like, okay, it's been an hour. Like, you should probably move on to other things. And I was like, 5 more minutes, mom.
Wow.
So she'd give me 5 more minutes, and 5 minutes would turn into 15, and then 15 would turn into 30. And I'd be playing for like 2 hours a day, just messing around with it however I could, like trying different things on it, like different positions with my mouth. And like they asked me how do I do that? And I'm just like, I was at such a young age and I was so infested with it that I just took it and I was like, no matter what, I'm gonna learn how to play this. Um, and so, I mean, sometimes with the musical aspect of friends, they do understand to a certain level, like how I am able to do it. But I'd say my friends who aren't even in the music business, like, they're just so, I don't even have like the right words because, yeah, and like they just come up to me, they're like, that was really cool. I could never do that. And I'm like, thank you. That means a lot because I know it took me years of practicing and playing
Sure it
two
did.
hours a day when my
Yeah.
mom tried to like pull it off of me. Um, so yeah.
Playing harmonica and telling people how you get that sound, you can't.
Mhm.
I've tried to do lessons and to do this. No, you can't. That's something that you have in you, the ability to do that stuff and all that. And to me, one of the things that's great about harmonica, there's not very many notes on it. 20 notes. I mean, that's a lot of notes, but still, compared it's like one in and out. It's not like you're playing and it just amazes me that the different styles you can get at it when you do certain things with it and all that stuff. So I think you're blessed to be able to play it. But the other thing is you're smart in realizing that it takes a lot of time and effort to get better.
Would you like me to play something on here right now? I can play a little.
Sure.
All
Why
right.
not? If you're offering, I'll take it.
It's right here.
Okay. What are you going to play? What are you going to play? Is this the thing you play for everybody
Um,
else?
yeah, this is This is an original that my harmonica teacher actually wrote for me when I was learning the blues, and it's the song that I play it so much, and because it was the first like original blues song that I had learned, and my teacher had taught me like dirty notes. I don't know if like you know what that means
I
in
know what you
harmonica
mean.
language.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Um, but like using that song to using this song that I'm about to play to advance my harmonica, it turned out to be like one of the greatest songs for me to play. And whenever I meet somebody, I'm like, "You want to hear something?" This is always like the song I go to when I play because I know it so well because I learned it when I was so young,
I
and
got
I've
you.
just been playing it ever since then, over and over. So
What's
this
it
is called
called?
Darker Than Blue.
Okay, go for it, kiddo.